Good evening. Hey, Paul. How you doing, buddy? No issues with the voice tonight on TV, right? Right? Hi, Julie. Kooky Karen, if you're still there, welcome. Yes, you were the first one here. Hey, Lavina. Doing good. Hope you're well as well. So today, a couple of the candidates had their, they had a like a meet and greet kind of a thing, and people who support them or want to support them came out, and so I took a few minutes and I stopped by to see a couple. One was this is Caty Presas. She's here with us. She'll be here with us tonight. She's here. And then and I'll tell you about the next stop after that in a minute. Fausto, what's up? Glad you could make it. All right. Let's talk to Caty. Hi there.
Hi there. How's everybody doing?
So I decided to go by tonight, and I was very surprised. You had a nice turnout over there.
Yes, I did. It was a good little turnout. Yes, it was.
a good last minute. When did you arrange all that?
Saturday evening.
Oh yeah, very short notice. And you
Very short notice.
Turnout.
A week ago. Yes.
Yeah. It was a good show of support. And did you give a speech? Did you do anything there to talk to the people? I know there was a lot of photo ops. People wanted to take their photo with you and stuff.
Yes. You know that a lot of the people that did attend, they're tired of it's become the norm as to see nothing going on in the city and how they feel that the city has been stagnant. But at the same time, they asked, what are you planning on doing with certain things that they feel that they've had issues with? And a lot of it has been the infrastructure. A lot of it has been how they feel that the city just is not economic development. It's not really there. They don't see it. So, and I told them, look, I bring the business mind. What I want to do, what I need to do, if anybody that gets elected and understands, is where's the budget and where's the money really going to, and how are we really spending the money? What's the plan? Do we have any 5-year plan, 10-year plan? Usually whenever you're in a board, like when I was on the school district, we always had a 5-year plan because it was easier and it was, you can get to accomplish what your goals were.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think, so right after we left your place, I went to visit Susan Rubalcaba, who's running for the commissioner at large. And I was surprised. She had a full house. It was packed with supporters, people who support her. And I was thinking about you both. Like, man, you guys, it seems like you guys are doing really good. I mean, there seems to be a positive vibe about you both.
Yes, and that's what the people that have met us and that have surrounded themselves with us. Every day I get a phone call. Every day I get a text. Ms. Presas, we're with you. What can I do for you? Can you give me a list? Can you tell me what I can do to help you? We need to get you in. And at the same time, like today, I had 3 calls, and the people were my supporters. But they say, Caty, we really like Miss Susan, but we don't know her. Is there any way you can get us her phone number, or can she call us? So I called her and I said, look, you need to contact these people. They really want to get to know you. They want to get to talk to you. And I think we both bring positive energy, not just that, but we want to find solutions. We want to fix what we can fix. It's not going to be done overnight. Like I tell a lot of the people, what's been happening in Brownsville, it's been happening for the past 15, 20 years. It's been something that has not been literally paid attention to. So when people are going to come in, we're going to have to be able to realize the priorities, the finances. And for those of you that don't know, I'm going to put it out there, but Brownsville is number 11 in the least prosperous city in the U.S. Our prosperity ranking is number 11 out of 25 top cities in the U.S. So, and I said this,
Wow.
and it's sad. It's
Yeah.
sad because we look at all these rankings of cities that are extremely successful. But let me tell you, if people know where Round Rock is right up Austin.
Yeah.
Okay. Round Rock is wealthy. Round Rock has, their economic development is different than what we are. But at the same time, we don't want to be comparing ourselves. Like people say, don't compare. Not that we want to compare, but we want to know what do we have that we can get to the level of expectation that we should be at. And it's not mediocrity. It's we have to be at a level where we can remove people out of poverty, motivate people that poverty, and let them know poverty is a choice. Poverty is a choice. But why are people living in poverty? Because our own leadership does not go out there to motivate and to bring things to them that they can be able to feel comfortable that they're capable of doing. And I think a lot of people, they don't even know who they are. Like people that only speak Spanish, they say, well, what kind of a position would this be if I was to be in Mexico? And it's called the sindicato, the syndicate of the city. That's what it is. So you explain to them and say, oh, so they understand the importance of why they also need to go out and be part of this election. And unfortunately, Brownsville has been stagnant because we've had a lot of elected officials that have had personal agendas. That's what it's been. And Susan and I know that we are coming in a different angle. We're both business women. We both respect ourselves like we respect others. We're intelligent, regardless of what Mr. Roy de los Santos said. The woman that he would be dealing with, whether he likes it or not, because she will get elected, and I will get elected. He's going to be dealing with women that have intelligence. Not only intelligence, but morally. Not only do we have moral values, but we have respect for self before we have respect to others. That's what we're bringing to the table. And that's what people need to know and start making noise. You have two women that are loving and caring and passionate enough to be able to work with others, a team, and let's start prioritizing our goals and what is our true vision for the city of Brownsville.
Yes, and in fact, that's something that you touched on. I was going to get to a little bit later in the program, but since you brought it up already, obviously you heard about it. I don't know if you watched the program last night. Did you hear? How did you take that when Roy said that about Susan? It was a little cringy to listen to, and then it didn't hit me till later. Like, dang, this is going to ruffle a feather or two, that's for sure. And not only with Susan, right?
If he, I'm going to tell you what I've taught my boys. When you disrespect a woman, how dare you? You come from a womb of a woman. Is that what your mother taught you? I mean, you're supposed to respect the woman regardless. I mean, if he feels that his IQ is higher than anybody, maybe that's his own way of thinking, right, of himself. He's got a big ego. But he needs to tone it down, take it down 2 steps, and he needs to start respecting others. And I think that's the problem, that he likes, and I've noticed this, he likes to surround himself with a certain group that will not speak up and will not stand up and challenge him or challenge his issues. He likes that because he feels empowered by not being challenged by the people that are afraid of him or can't stand up to what they believe it's right.
Yeah. Do you feel when you heard that, I want to go back to this because I got a lot of messages on that today, and a lot of people were not happy with him saying that. With his mom, and I know that Mrs. De Los Santos, his mother, she was watching last night, and she was, commenting and participating and stuff. And I started thinking about this evening. I was like, I wonder what his mom thinks about this, because that wasn't. And I know he backtracked a little bit, and he was trying to correct what he said, or put a different spin on it. But That's anybody could say, well, that's a pretty misogynistic statement to make. Do you think it was that? Go ahead.
The woman is very bright, very smart. She wouldn't have the business that she has if she didn't know her business. You know, she's humble. She's very outspoken. Maybe he doesn't like, that maybe he meant to say because he doesn't like to be challenged. And mind you, there's a lot of men that don't like to be challenged by women. And I think he's one of those. And he's one of those type of individuals that refuses to accept that women can be intelligent enough to challenge the issues and be problem solvers. You know, it's like I tell people, we're not here. Susan and I are not here to create problems or animosity. We're here because we want to make a difference. We want to be able to bring our vision, and we're tired as taxpayers. I mean, she's a very busy woman with her business. Believe me, I'm also busy. But you know what? Our commitment is to make sure that we can truly represent the people and that the people will have a voice. And that is what we really need. There's too many issues around the city that are going on that some of the people are upset about. And they don't want for it to head in a different direction that's going to cause more hinder the city itself.
Yeah, Paul put a comment up here, and he's probably right. We should have kind of started all over. Recap, introduce yourself. What are you running for? Just so some of those who haven't met you yet can have a little bit of background. Plus, we'll get into it as well. So Go ahead, just give it a little intro.
Okay, Mr. Paul. I'm sorry. My name is Caty Presas-Garcia. For those that are, that have tuned in with us, my name is Caty Presas-Garcia. I was formerly on the school board for Brownsville Independent School District. I had the honor and the privilege to get voted by the citizens of Brownsville, and I served 2 terms, 8 years. And I also served on an urban board of education at a national level. I was very happy to have been selected. I was nominated by the president of the largest school district in the U.S., which is New York. And I came on board and I filled in for one of the positions for a school board member that was in that board. She was out of Houston and she had gotten sick and they needed a replacement. So my name came up and I had the honor to represent the district in the state and at a national level. And I was part of the policy committee at the education level at national, and we would put policies together to make sure that the policies would not hinder either the students, either the educators, or the parents as well. So I served back in 2013 to 2014 on the Urban Board of Education. And then I served from the school board, BISD, from 2008 to 2016. So I bring that knowledge of, how federal funds are placed in certain departments or certain areas, or how the state funding is supposed to be utilized and how local taxpayers is supposed to be utilized. So I bring, that knowledge of leadership that I would be able to ask the questions. And I'm one of those type of leaders that doesn't matter if I have to, be the only one or the outnumbered one. I'm going to ask the question. And if I need to get the answer, I am going to get it. And that's because I represent the citizens that elected me, my constituents. At the end of the day, that's what we are supposed to be here for the constituents.
So you are running for a commissioner of the 2nd district, is that correct?
District 2, which is, and District 2 consists of the airport, and it consists of the industrial park, part of the industrial park. And it's a pretty big area. A lot of people don't see it like that, but it covers all the way to Boca Chica and 511, right before you get to SpaceX, which is in Naranjal subdivision. Then it comes back to where Rivera High School is. It circulates back to 511 where Rio del Sol is. And then it comes back into the back area where the Old Port Isabel and Robindale is. And then it hits back into 802 down to Paredes Line where it connects with Price Road. and all the way down to Los Ébanos, and then it cuts across down to Boca Chica, but the south side. So it's a pretty big area. Lando Lakes, Palo Verde, Dana.
Oh yes, yes.
Dana. Yeah, I mean it's a pretty large area. Mm-hmm.
So you've been. We had you on. I had you here. I want to say 3 weeks ago, almost already.
Yes.
I don't think it's been quite a month yet. And you've done your events. You've met the people. You've talked to a lot of people. Has anything changed since you've been out there campaigning? I mean, can you tell that there's a? Are you a little more honed in to what the people really are talking about, or what they want, or what they need, or what they're concerned about?
You know that the people are concerned about the infrastructure is one. I mean, they're just very disappointed as to how the streets are. You know, not only that, but when it rains, our streets flood very quickly, very easily. You know, a lot of people are upset because of the median, but then again, the median, it had something to do with the state. You know, the state had a say, but then again, where was the city to say that it was that median on Boca Chica was going to cost all these, you know, headaches? And people don't like that. You got to think about what's best for the citizens when all these issues come up. The state's going to say, okay, we have money. We're going to fix these streets that are on the highway. And these are your city streets, because there's two different types of, projects and funding that where it needs to come from and how everything needs to be taken care of and prioritized. But I know that Boca Chica has been a street that they're constantly going back there and fixing. If it's not because of the drainage, it's because of the street paving. I mean, I think for the past 10 years, Boca Chica has been under construction constantly. Another thing is that they're very upset as for the incident from PUB to Nazca. What happened? Why wasn't anybody paying attention? I mean, at the end of the day, we have to be aware of what's going on, if it's BCIC, the Brownsville Community Incentives Corporation, whether it's GBIC, Greater Brownsville, if it's, all these other organizations that they've created supposedly to make sure that Brownsville can take care of the business people or businesses that they can bring into the community. It doesn't seem to be going in the right direction. I mean, you don't see it, you don't feel it. I have one of the busiest streets, International, which is at South Padre Island Boulevard, that heavy traffic because of the 18-wheelers combined with the vehicles. I mean, it's hectic. It's horrendous. I have heavy, traffic area where I would be the leader and representative of the citizens of Brownsville. And we have to figure things out. We can't continue to be going backwards and not finding solutions to the issues that we're all having to deal with on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. Yes. Very well said. The other question I wanted to ask you was Roy hit on a few things last night. And I know that one, I heard from a lot of people regarding his comment, and I think I'm gonna ask him to clarify and bring that back. And then something came out, the agenda from the from the LGBTQ task force. Did you see this?
No, I heard. I was talking to a couple of people that were on listening last night, and I'm going to say this, and it is, we can't sugarcoat it. It is what it is. But I think a lot of us are starting to realize in the direction that leadership is taking this city and the entities within the city, we're losing the focus of what we need to be doing. Now it's on the school board. It's an agenda item that supposedly it's for LGBTQ, a proclamation. And, I got calls today about it. I got texts about it. It's becoming something that they're trying, I believe, and this is what I've heard. Well, there's a lot of, mental problems and psychological, and our students are going through this and going through that. Guys, a child's mind, when they're children, they're innocent. And to me, it's a crime when you start going into the area of a child's mind that they're supposed to be innocent till the age that they will, realize, the difference between this and the birds and the bees, right? And then again, but you have adults that are literally going into the area where a child's mind should not be manipulated with. Now, when it comes to this, it's becoming they want to shove things down our throat. If it's not with the public library where kids go to, it's the children that they seem to be, focusing on when children can't defend themselves. Children don't know any better. Gee, sometimes adults, they're confused. Can you imagine the mind of a child?
Yeah, and I know a lot of people take exception to the term targeting or grooming, which are some very trending words right now. But it does seem like that. So many people had a concern from item number 6 that are on that list, letter C, upcoming community events. Dia de los Niños, which is day of the children. And of course, everybody right away, considering everything we've heard the last few years about, grooming and why bring kids into the LGBTQ conversation. Because to me, niños means small children, not like teenagers, although it may include teenagers, but, and I still don't agree with, and I don't understand why even have, if they're your own kids, okay, do what you want with your own kids, but why have this conversation with school children that are not theirs? What's the point? What's the purpose of introducing? And I mean just LGBTQ. I mean any kind of sex, straight sex. It's up to me and my decision when. Don't talk to my child about. And then again, and I guess I'm assuming it's on that. I guess we should ask them to clarify, what is that day for? What is going to happen on that day?
What is that event really for? Is it to celebrate the life of a child, that they're innocent, that they're children, that they can enjoy to be a child, at their age, the child is supposed to, and the mind is supposed to develop as it's going, right? Yeah. Not for us to force these things and then confuse the child, that's not. And I think parents need to put their foot down, and parents need to say enough. You're not going to teach, and you're not going to talk to my child about this issue or this topic. That is my job to do. That's not yours. A school is supposed to be teaching math, reading, writing, science, the core subjects. Focus on the core subjects. Focus on the core subjects, and everything else, let it be on the parents' responsibility and obligation. I raised 3 boys, and let me tell you, I was hard on them, and I told them, it's not going to be what they tell you. These are my rules. This is the way it goes.
Yeah, and the other reason that this was a bit of a shocker coming out today, because I'm pretty sure he said yesterday, no, that's not true, and there's no such thing, and then this comes out today, and it's like, well, okay. I'm gonna need him to explain this. I really am. I got to bring him back to say what's going on with this, and that's when everybody I could hear a collective, what? See, everybody went see at the same time. That's what they did.
And why hide things? Be honest. Why do you deceive the public? And then that once you're elected, because he's elected, he's already an elected official, regardless of how we see things, he's going to continue to do what he has in mind or planned. because this was not this far into the challenge that we're having now until he came about. He brought it. He was the one that pushed so hard for it. And you know what? If that is somebody's choice, I respect it, but respect us as well. I am not going to judge anybody. I'm not here to judge anybody. That's not our job to judge anybody. But let me tell you, the same respect they want, we deserve the same respect. You know, I mean, why are they going to continue to just literally just shove down our throat? Well, this is what we need. This is what we want. Or you're homophobe. No, I'm not homophobe. Your kind has been in existence for many years, since back in the Romans. Forever, guys and girls. But you know what? In my family, I love them. I'm not gonna, but they're not flaunting it. They're not out there flamboyant. They're not wanting to say in your face. And they're not feeling. They don't feel bad about it. I mean, they live their lives. We live our lives. We socialize together. We respect each other, and that's it. Very simple. But now when they're going into schools and they're trying to get all these kids and luring the kids, the teenagers are in a stage where they're confused sometimes, most of the times. I have my sons that have says, Mom, thank you for holding me back. Mom, thank you for being as hard as you were. Mom, thank you for always checking up, and you were right. I had more time to be an adult than to be a young kid and enjoy life.
Yeah. And how did this, I don't know if you heard Governor Abbott talk about teachers in Texas that says teachers are failing our kids. Do you agree with that? Do you think that's what's happening?
That teachers are failing our kids? I think the system is changing so rapidly, so quickly. It's not the teachers. It's becoming, I know that it's not easy to teach nowadays. Because now they have like all these nouns, like if you call somebody something or, they get offended. You don't know how to call anybody anything anymore. I mean, it's such a shame that in a classroom, I think teachers are walking now on eggshells, and there's so many other things coming, surrounding the day-to-day lives of a teacher that they're even afraid to even go into a classroom. And what if a child accuses them of, not calling them the right name, or, I see more kids now dressing up what we didn't dress like back in the 70s and the 80s. It's changing so quickly. I don't think the teachers are failing them. I think it's the system that needs to respect, that we need to go back to the basic, to the core subjects, stick to all these testing. Somebody's making money off these STAR tests or the tests that are around nowadays. Kids have anxieties. Not everybody can test well. There's children that test well. There's children that don't do well when they test. There's that anxiety. So at the same time, I think it's the government that needs to understand, keep it simple. Let's teach. We're falling behind. Parents don't know any. We are. I mean, while we're too busy trying to teach a test versus teaching, kids can't even add and subtract mentally anymore. Very seldom you find a percentage that they can do it real quick up here. But, I mean, it's becoming more difficult and more challenging, the education system. That's how I see it.
Yeah, I think for the sake of activists, we've gotten away from teaching children the basics, the 3 R's, right? Reading, writing, arithmetic, right? And that was important. But now it seems there's a percentage of people that want to make social issues important or more important than learning how to multiply, divide, balance a checkbook, learn how to fill out the job application, and things like that, things that are you're actually going to need. You know, there's me growing up, I've seen so many people older than me as I was growing up that I had to help fill out an application. You know, and they couldn't do it, and they didn't know what this was or what that was, and there was no common sense. And that's very sad to me. That means they didn't have a good education, in my opinion, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And I think too much outside influence is being allowed to influence what happens in the classroom. You know, poor guy, poor teacher, the late guy or whatever who wants to teach and do a good job, that loves history, but they want to throw all these things. Oh, you got to talk about this, and you got to talk about racism, and you got to talk about, you know, all these genders, and it's distracting.
I know it's like, well, guys, let's get it back together. You know, let's just. And this is one thing that I've asked myself. I say, okay, so our DNA, we're born as, you know, because Paul says, why? Because if you can't reproduce, the question, I'm looking at it, but our DNA shows it. My DNA, if I was to change to a male, right? My DNA is a female. It's a female. Regardless, my DNA is always going to be a female.
That's basic science.
Yes,
and it's been said before in other discussions online. You can identify however you want to identify, but in 2,000 years, when they dig up your bones, they're going to go, hell, here's a man. Here's a male that from 2023, but they're not going to see the how you identified as, and they're not going to care. This was a male and that was a female.
That's it.
That's all there is, and that's basic science.
I must have been wearing jeans and boots and short hair and looked like a man, and I wanted to dress like a man, but my DNA is a female, regardless. That's what I came to this world. That's the way it is, Yep. And I had an incident where I was up in Austin, and I went to a Walgreens, and I walked in, I paid, and there was this young man, and he had makeup and he had a wig, and I said, well, thank you, ma'am. I'm not a man. Oh, well, then too bad. Then don't dress like a man. That's what I saw you, so I'm sorry if you feel offended after I called you a ma'am. But your voice says you're male, so thank you, sir. And I grabbed my bag and I walked out. I mean, okay, so I called you both. I'm sorry. My eyes saw that, so I couldn't tell it.
Yeah, it's happened to me as well. We talked about this last night. And that's a whole other topic. So I want to go on a little more about you've been out there, you put yourself out there. What else do the people care about? Do the people really? I know there's a group of people who do, but are the citizens of Brownsville really worried or concerned about these bus stop covers not going up? Is that a real concern?
You know that I from the time that I've been campaigning on this for this seat, somebody told me, well, you know what? I don't have a covering for my bus stop. And I said, okay, so where's your bus stop? So she called me, right? And I go and I meet her. So I said, you know what? Okay, so I'm going to have that on my list. But then as I started driving around town, so you have 3 types of bus stops. 3 types. You have the bench with a sign. You have the bench with just no sign, and then you have a bench with a covering and a sign. And there's no consistency. So I go to a part of town and they have the bench, the covering, and the stop sign. Then I drive to another district and there's just a bench. Wait here on the bench. Or they have just the stop sign without the bench and without nothing. So where's the consistency? Where's the commitment to the citizens of Brownsville that deserve to have a seat, to have a cover for the sun, for the rain? Do they care, or they just don't care?
Yeah, because it gets pretty hot down here. If you're waiting in the sun for 5 minutes, you're cooking. You're almost cooking. and protection from the sun it's just something that's needed. So you're
Yep.
saying all those bus stops, they're not as they're going up, they're not all the same.
No, no. Believe me, I have, I have already photos and written down locations where people literally are waiting for a bus and they're just leaning onto the pole of the bus stop. The pole of the bus stop.
Yeah.
And I drove to another area and there was a bench, a blue bench, because it's the color of the bus, right? The bus stop. Then I drove to another location. They had the stop sign, the bench, and the covering. So I'm like, but why? Why can't the city follow whoever the department head is there? Where's the city manager to follow up? Where are the commissioners to make sure? And let's say I'm the commissioner for District 2, but I drive to District 1. And I see that in District 1, which is southmost area, I see that I have the canopies with the bench and the stuff. But then those citizens, I'm going to, tell my colleague, right? I'm going to tell her, hey, when are we going to get your coverings? Where's the sense of urgency and concern and care? Where's the care? It's not happening.
And what is the holdup? I hear that these things are in stock, or they're in a warehouse somewhere. Why aren't they being put up? What is the holdup? Why? Bureaucracy and red tape. It's pissing me off already. And especially, and this is not like we only talk about it once a year or once every 2 years. This is something we've been talking about for years and years and years and years already. And it's frustrating. Why aren't these things just put up? And they started to put them up, and then it just stopped. A few went up in some locations, and then it just stopped.
And it's so unfair for the citizens. It really is. Because you have people that still use the bus. I see people when I'm driving, and I see them there just standing, leaning onto the pole, waiting 30, 40 minutes for the bus to stop by. Yeah. It's just, for me, I've come to a conclusion that they just don't have people that care enough, or the morale is down within the city, and they just have a no care attitude. That they don't have that sense of urgency to make sure that our citizens have the needs out there.
Yeah, for people who don't understand, we're not just bitching about a bus stop cover. There's not a lot of first of all, it's very hot down here. We don't have buses everywhere. This is not like a metropolitan city like Chicago, Houston, Dallas, Boston, New York, where buses run every 5 minutes. Here, they're about an hour in between, and there's nowhere to sit. There's no cover from the sun beating down on you. So it's not that people are just complaining to complain. I mean, these people have to, and a lot of these places don't even have sidewalks. So
that's another thing. No sidewalks. They're on the grass.
Yeah.
On the grass, standing on the grass or on the dirt, hard dirt, and it might not even be level sometimes because
right.
I know it's like all bumpy, all
Yeah.
And it's just. Again, we go back to, is anybody really paying attention to what really is needed within the community for the citizens' sake?
Yeah, Chris, that's not a bad idea. You should have taken $1 million or $2 million from that $90 million and work on the parking situation instead of those ridiculous meters, which that's
another. That's what I feel that every time that we do something, it's a mediocre attitude. Or let's pump the money and it's okay. People are not going to figure it out. They're not going to find out. It's okay. This is what Brownsville citizens deserve. No. We deserve the respect to have the best of the best, and that our tax dollars or the funding that we utilize, they better get the job done, and they better hold the people accountable that are responsible for whoever gets the product, whoever bids out the project, and it better get done properly. because that's why we're the way we are. They say, hey, I deserve to have a city that's clean. I deserve to have the best of the best city. I don't want to be a mediocre city.
Yeah. The other thing, I've said, we know what pride of ownership is, right? The homeowner who loves his house, keeps it clean, keeps the grass cut, and make curb appeal nice and all that, and he's proud. He or she, they're proud of their home. I think there's got to be, I don't know if it's a cultural thing, but I think there needs to be another push or a drive for be proud of your city. There's garbage all over the place. I've seen people driving in front car in front of me. They'll just throw stuff out the window, and I'm like, go litter somewhere else, man. But what's wrong with you people? What's wrong with people now? Well, how can we fix that? It's not something that starts in the home, first of all. That's unfortunately, that's not the. This.
It's some of it is cultural, because as a realtor, I had an incident that the man wanted to buy a certain property, and then I told him, well, the deed, the covenants, the developer says that this is the only thing that you can, do in your home, and you cannot put your 18-wheeler into those streets because the streets are not made like the ones when you drive on the highway. The streets don't have the layering that you need to be pulling your 18-wheeler in and out of there with the box, right?
Yeah.
So he says, and mind you, he was not from here. Well, and he tells me in Spanish, well, this is going to be my property. Nobody's going to tell me what to do. So I looked at him and I said, okay, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Your value of the properties around you are going to depreciate. And this is not a property that you can have an 18-wheeler here up your sidewalk here and make the other properties look, in distress. And so he said, no, you don't understand. If I'm buying it, I'm going to do whatever I want and put in whatever I want. And I said, sir, no, and I asked him, where are you at right now? He looked at me and I said, sir, honestly, where are you standing right now? On what ground are your feet on? And he looked at me and said, sir, if where you come from in Mexico, you have no regulations when somebody develops a subdivision, that's over there. That's fine. But not here, sir. Don't ruin the rest of the homes around your neighborhood, and don't mess the streets up by you having to take your 18-wheeler there because that's what you want. It's not going to happen. It has an HOA. So you don't belong in an HOA. You cannot be in an HOA then.
Right.
And you see, kind of they don't understand. You need to walk them through, because when they come from other places that they're allowed to do whatever they want, well, that's not the way it works. Not here.
No, not at all. Definitely not at all. It's pride of ownership and pride of the city you live in. That's going to be a tough one, because you got to get kids involved. You got to go to the schools and start with the little kids who are in classrooms, kindergarten. Don't litter, pick up your garbage, throw your trash away. Parents at home should be having their kids pick up after themselves or throw out the garbage. Get them into the rhythm of garbage can, garbage can. Don't litter. And it might have to start at that basic level, Who knows? That's not an easy one either.
And you see it in shopping carts too. Just
don't get me started on shopping carts.
Culture. It's a culture thing.
I never seen so many lazy people. So many lazy freaking people. They'll take their shopping cart, put it behind the car next to them, and the shopping cart corral is right here on the other side, 5 feet away. But they'll leave it over here behind the other cart, and that's just one word, and that's lazy. Another way to put it, and I just I've gotten into almost confrontations because I'm gonna shut up and walk away because I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't know. I hope it's not a cultural thing. Maybe it is a cultural thing.
I think border towns struggle a little bit more. I think border towns are a little bit more of a challenge.
And then it's funny because I'll be called racist because how dare you say that? Like, yeah, come down here and come to Walmart down here and see what goes on in the parking lot. See if you feel the same way in 5 minutes. But anyway, we digress a little bit. How do you feel about your campaign? How do you think you're gonna do? How does it feel for you?
I feel good. I feel positive about it. I mean, it's like I tell people. I say, I decided to do it because I care enough to be able to dedicate my personal time to be able to make a difference, and I feel good about it. I mean, I have a lot of people that have reached out to me without me even going out there, and they say, hey, I heard about you, and I'm calling you, and you're the one that has the most experience. You're very outspoken. We need somebody like you. And I'm going to tell you, they really bring up Miss Susan also. Oh, we need you two ladies out in there, and let's get you both ladies in there. And it's like, we really want a unified commission of leaders. We want a group of leaders that are really going to be able to prioritize what needs to get done in our city. There's a lot of work that needs to get done, a lot. And I think that there's going to be some resistance because we have high level of expectation and we have the understanding of budgets and where the funding comes from and what needs to happen. But I think if we all unite and we all put it in writing, what is our main goal? What are our top priorities, and how are we going to get there? And how long is it going to take us to get there? The infrastructure, for instance, the streets. It doesn't matter what part of town, whether you're on the east side, west side, north side, south side, the streets are bad, really bad. It doesn't matter. I mean, people's vehicles are getting damaged on a day-to-day basis when you drive through the potholes, through those streets that are, the layers of the paving is already gone. And you know what? It's going to cost money. And, interest rates are high. Right now, I mean, we have to go in there, look at the budget, ask the questions, sit down with the financial director or the finance director from the city of Brownsville, get to know the city manager well enough. Hey, this is what everybody's expectation is supposed to be. Today I had somebody that called and said that the city of Brownsville they're not friendly. They're not a friendly, people can't help them out. They have to go to 2-3 different places before they can get an answer. They give everybody the runaround. It seems like that the city itself, they're at the departments, wherever they're getting information, they either don't have the right information or they just have, like I say, the morale is down. They're tired. It could be a lot of things, and you can feel that there's no positive energy when you walk into some of those buildings. There's a lot of friction, I can sense positive energy.
Yeah. And
right.
I think a lot of that has to do with people in general, not necessarily the city. I think there's a lot of people who don't like what they do. It's like, you know what, maybe you should change careers or do something else where you'll be happier. You walk into a city building, yeah, you should be all smiles and feel welcome. That's what I think. But that applies also to any business. If you got employees, that's how you want them. You want them to make customers feel like they're welcome. And I think a lot of that is missing from people. I don't think that's a city issue necessarily. I think people need to do what they love.
Well, with good leadership and the leader's level of expectation, management, and say, hey, we got to be this friendly environment. We have to have a friendly environment. When people come, we need to welcome them. We need to make them feel welcome, that they're here. If they're going to open up a business, okay, here's the list. This is what you need to do. Let me send you to the other person, and then this is where they can help you out. If you have any questions, please feel free to come back. But no, nada. Here it is. Here's a paper. Fill it out. Okay. So it's like,
yeah. And then
bye.
I think a lot of businesses here. A lot of people need to go through customer service training. There's a lot, and that's not the city only. I've been
Everywhere.
to a lot of restaurants where people are just not happy, and I'm thinking, why are you even here? Go do something you like. Don't give me a nasty face. And it's like, yeah, what do you want? Okay, and then they just walk away, and there's no more. Hey, how are you? Thanks for coming here. We got our specials or blah blah blah. This is just little quick, minor little chit chat to make you feel good, but then you don't tip them, and then they get angry too, and then. Sorry, I can go on and on. This is customer service here has always been spotty at best. Let's see. Somebody's comments here. Somebody's wishing you the best there. Love that you're on the show. I post a lot of negative comments, but I want the best for my favorite city, even though I don't live there. That's Chuck Nelson. Chuck's a good guy. There are a few politicians that do care and want to take care of their constituents. Caty Presas-Garcia is one of those few politicians that cares and will fight to get things done for the citizens. That's from Lucille. HOA is not for the normal people of Brownsville.
No.
Yeah, not to mention there's a fee for that as well. That's not for free. You got to follow their rules and you got to pay for them. Is there a homeless camp issue in Brownsville? Big issue here in Denver, Colorado. I know they're scattered all over. I don't think there used to be a little tent city, right? Somewhere in downtown nearby here.
There used to be a place where they could go. But I believe it's now we have them everywhere. Like we're seeing more and more. And, it's just so sad. And I think every city's is having the same issue that we are. It's just becoming, challenging to cities that they have homeless,
Yeah. And this is a popular destination because the weather is good, generally speaking.
Warm.
And by good, I mean, it's not freezing.
No.
They can put up with the heat, but it's never freezing down here. On the public easement, it's a right of way. It bothers me. People park on the public easement next to a stop sign and block my view of incoming traffic. So I've had to complain about that. Not about cars parking, but where they plant bushes. Like when you exit a parking lot, and there's a row of bushes or hedges right on the corner. You want to see an example of that? Drive into Best Buy and then drive out of Best Buy at Pablo Casell. And you're edging your car out so you can see if there's a car coming, and you can't see because there's a whole row
of bushes
that they're right up on the curb to the street as far as they can put it. That's a safety issue. There's got to be something that says, yeah, they got to be back 10 feet. So when the guy's coming out of the ramp, out of the parking lot, he can see traffic. And I see it everywhere. I don't know why that's not a thing.
And you see, when they take the plans to the city of Brownsville, because they have to take the plans to when they're going to approve. Okay, so doesn't anybody pick up on that? Like you would say, okay, no, you cannot put these bushes here. The curb appeal has to be, like you say, 10 feet back, right? Take it back,
Yeah, even if it was 3 or 5 feet, there's got to be somebody's got to notice. It's a safety issue when you can't see cars, and you got to keep poking your car out and risk getting hit by the cars that are never going to speed limit. Politicians don't care, just holding an office and hands in the cookie jar. Good schools, clean city, and low crime rates should be the goal.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. The schools. I think schools are. I know there are some issues, but I think for the most part, I think people love their schools here. Is that the feeling you got while you were at BIST?
Yeah. I think school. Well, they say the morale is down now in the school district. I don't know what's going on there. Unfortunately, that when they bring new administration, but good schools, good. It's an effect of a city that will prosper, because education makes a difference within the cities, within the communities. So and then a lot of times you want these students to graduate, go to their local college here and stay here. But a lot of them, they feel, I have a son that says, Mom, I'm not going to come back. I'm going to stay away from Brownsville. He just got a better feeling leaving somewhere else, and he likes it, so.
Yeah, and the whole goal of your kids is to get them successful in school, have them get a good education, so they can come back and work or run something here in the city, right?
Yep, it's not happening.
And I like it here. I want to like it here. It's just the people. Some of the people that live here suck.
I know the feeling. I know. I leave and then I come back and I'm like, I feel like Linus, the one with the Snoopy with a blanket, dragging my suitcase.
Oh yeah. It's like pick up your garbage, park your shopping cart. The other issue I used to have, now it almost, there's a single family home, in any given neighborhood. What, 3 bedrooms, maybe 4 bedrooms? All these smaller homes in these subdivisions.
Mm-hmm.
But there's 15 cars outside, parked all over the lot like a parking lot in their front yard.
On top of the yard.
On top of the yard. You can't see the grass or their driveway. All you see looks like a parking lot. And I know some people run their business from there. They're mechanics perhaps or things like that. And I don't believe in interfering how a man earns a living if he's trying to earn a living legitimately. But I mean, you're talking, it's noise, it's an eyesore, and I don't know. People are going to say I'm just complaining for nothing.
No,
Shut up.
No. But if we don't talk about it, then we never correct the problem. That's what it is.
Kate says if you dump a shopping trolley here, people point to the bays. If the wind changes, those trolleys can wheel into other. Oh, by trolley she means the shopping carts.
Shopping carts.
And yeah, if you leave them, the wind will take them, and then they're going to smash into a car. And now you've got
the damage.
And nobody's going to pay for that. Walmart's not going to pay for that. Some of the current city commission is just for special interests. They really don't care to help the citizens. Very sad. I do hope for a city commission. I hope some of them that are there now really do care, and maybe it's just I don't even want to say a bad few, but there's some things that happen that make you think about everybody. Is everybody really working for the best interests of
the betterment of the community? The best interest of every citizen. I mean, we have like about a 35% of the people living in poverty. In our city. So.
District True, Jaime Z. Zapata, Central, Robindale, Old Port Isabel, all in bad shape. The people in those departments are high Hispanics. Hispanics. Yeah, if I really.
Those streets are in really bad shape. Really bad shape.
Central is bad. Old Port Isabel is, some of these. And they've been like that. That's a frustrating thing, too. It's time for a change, and I hope that whoever's in there, if that is you, that makes it in there. Do something, please.
Yes, I think we all just need to, unite and really think about where we really need to start looking into the challenges that we really have, because there's a lot of issues. There's the PUB, the Tenasca thing that they deceive the public, and then the city sustains itself with a majority of the residential taxes versus the city's supposed to be sustaining itself by other form of revenue, That's why economic development is very important within the city. And do the right people doing what they're supposed to be doing? I mean, a lot of the times the setback is because we don't have the people that have the knowledge of what they're supposed to be doing. And then if you have leaders that don't have high expectation, first of all, you start with yourself. What's the level of expectation that you want? Do you accept mediocre? Do you want to hire, where do you want to be? And our goal is supposed to always be working hard for the betterment of the citizens. And that's of every citizen.
Yeah. See, I told you, somebody just called me a Karen. And I knew it was going to happen. That's all right. That's okay. Caty Presas, any parting words? Why should someone vote for you?
Well,
spend as much time as you want. The floor is yours.
Well, I am the one that brings the most experience. I am very outspoken. I look at the issues. I'm not afraid of the challenge. I believe that a leader needs to be humble, which I am a humble individual, a hard worker. You won't say that you have a lazy leader, because I'm going to be out there. I'm going to be paying attention to my district, and I'm going to listen to the citizens that live in my district. As a realtor, I'm always driving around town, so I'm able to see everything that's going on. It's not something that I don't have, the knowledge of what the district needs as of right now. That's why I decided to step up to the plate and run, because I just continue to see the same problem over and over. Our airport needs to make sure that they don't, that we're not losing revenue, or that we're not making in the revenue that it's needed in order for us to sustain it. I know that the flights are very expensive. People don't use our airline because they're very expensive. I've had numerous complaints, numerous calls about it. And I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to say it because I'm as honest as I can be, I don't fly out of the airport for that same reason. People don't have to say it to me. I fly out of Harlingen because their rates are much better. Their airline is different. But then again, I've had friends that say, girl, I can't even fly into Brownsville Airport because it's too expensive. Even if I go with a 1 month, 3 weeks in advance.
Yeah.
And something's not right, guys. We're hurting ourselves. Somebody's not paying attention, or we're taking advantage of. That's the bottom line. And as leaders, we're supposed to be, and as your leader, I will be asking the questions. And I will work very hard for each and every citizen. When I make decisions, it's not just going to be based on District 2, but the decisions that we all make will affect every citizen within the community as a whole. So, I'm here to work together with the rest of the commissioners and the mayor. And my job is to make sure that I represent you with the best of my ability. And I hope to make a difference. And I am the one that has the most experience. And I believe that I can get the job done.
One of the questions, and it kind of puts you on the spot, but you don't have to answer it if you don't want to. Who do you like for mayor?
That it's I'm going to tell you, I'm going to answer, and I'm going to tell you what's been happening.
Tell us who you like for mayor without telling us who you like for mayor. How's that?
I like someone that's outspoken, someone that's going to make sure that the questions are asked, and that says enough is enough. Let's roll up our sleeves and let's work together, and let's do what's best for every citizen. And that has no personal self-interest in any agendas. That the only agendas that we have are the citizens of Brownsville. That's the mayor that I like. And I believe that the problem that we have right now, the challenge, is that I know that every day that I talk to people, it's like, Caty, who do we have for mayor? And I say, you have a choice.
Very good.
You have a choice. We do, But I believe that I'll be able to work with, we don't need glamour. We definitely don't need glamour. Okay?
Got it. Okay. Yep.
Got it? So
got it.
You got very clear. Okay?
If you know, you know. If you know, you know.
That's right. I'm just giving you little pointers out there, right? Now, we need a mayor is supposed to be the main guide and the vision. He's supposed to tell us and work with us and say, guys, this is how I feel. And what do you guys think about this? And he's going to be our true leader and take us in the right direction. That mayor needs to have knowledge, needs to be outspoken, needs to be brave enough that if we find ourselves in any circumstance of a situation where our citizens need to be taken care of first, that they're able to have a plan and that they're able to work together with any emergency situation. So picking can choose the people that you know that they're able to react quickly without being anybody's puppet, without being manipulated, but that they're going to be able to say, hey, this is what we're going to deal with, and this is the direction that we're going to take you.
Yep, well said.
Very
Understood.
simple.
Well said. I think those who've been watching you for some time and for some years, they know exactly what you just said right now. Exactly.
No glamour, please.
Is this what you're saying? He must have a good dentist. Is that what you're saying? If you know, you know.
Oh my God!
This is one of those if you know, you know moments. And,
yeah. You know, I lived in Joliet, Illinois, and Baltimore, Maryland. And Baltimore, Maryland, and I was able to pick up real quick when I left the valley. I was like, what's this? You know? I was not exposed to that when I was growing up in Brownsville.
Yep. Caty, it's been a pleasure as usual. Very much luck to you. And if you're the person, if you're saying all this, I hope that you win for that district. And whoever is the winner, I hope they really back up what they say. Because you get a lot of that promises, the cliche for being a politician. Promise the world, and then they get voted in, and then nothing happens. And I think, and I'm tired of every election cycle. Oh, it's time for change. Oh, we need a change. Oh, it's time for change. But it never happens. It'd be nice if it actually happened.
And you know that people feel that way. When I talk to people, it's like, we're so disgusted, Kat. We just don't even trust anybody anymore. And I said, well, come on. It's important for you to go out and vote. Please go out and vote. Other countries don't have the opportunity that we have, the right. My son is married to a girl from Argentina, and she freaked when she first came to the U.S. She goes, what do you mean? You guys have 10 days to go vote before the actual election. And I said, yes. And then she says, oh, no. In Argentina, we have 1 day only. And everybody is off on that day. But everybody will need to go out and vote on that day. It starts real early and it finishes late.
Yep.
I'm like, wow. So we're spoiled. Not even because we're spoiled do people go out and vote. No, but they have a sour taste of the bad politicians.
We have to keep adding days of early voting to try to get people 30 days of early voting. It starts in April. It's like, God. And still nobody wants to come out.
I know. And can you imagine if it rains?
Oh.
We'll have 2% of the voters going up to vote.
Right? Yeah, we'll pick you up in boats. We'll pick you up. We'll pick you up and take you to go vote.
It's sad. It's just sad. But anyway, I'm positive, and I feel good about it. And like I tell people, I'm going to work hard for you. And I hope that the team that comes together, it's a unified team, and it's a business mind team, and says, hey, enough, and let's take Brownsville to the next level. Let's take it to the next level, and let's make a difference. Because after all, it's the legacy that we leave behind, and it's for the benefit of the children and other generations that are coming behind us. Yeah. That's what it is.
And just so you know, I finally touched base with Ernesto Lopez, and he will be here on the program on Thursday.
Oh, that's good.
Thursday evening. So I'll give him as much time as he wants. We've been having a communication issue back and forth, mostly my fault. So I will admit, I didn't mean to call him out to say he wasn't communicating. I actually was talking about somebody else. William Garza hasn't returned my call. Neither has Jessica Tetro. But Ernesto and I were back and forth, and I dropped the ball on my part. So we got in touch today, and he agreed to come out on Thursday, and he's excited for that. So he's your opponent. So we'll see what he's got to say on Thursday. And seems like a nice gentleman as well.
He is.
But I know nothing about him. I know nothing about him at all.
Do you
know him? Yeah.
Yes, and you know what? I told him, hey, you give me the man of your word and shake my hand. If this If this happens, you need to make sure that this is the way it's going to go. He says, oh, no, yes, I totally agree with you. So he's good. I mean, he says, he says, we need you there. If it's not me, it's you. That's what he says. If it's not me, it's you. Please, it's got to be you if it's not me. I said, okay. I said, it's okay.
There you go.
But he's a good guy. He's gotten to realize that the stuff that he was not aware of is like, he doesn't agree to it. We have the same mindset. Yeah. Yeah.
Good. Well, that'll be interesting because we have not. I know he's been on other programs, but that'll be his first time here. So look forward to that on Thursday around 7 p.m. if I'm not mistaken. Caty, it's been wonderful. Thank you so much for coming out. I know you were busy with your event this evening, and you still made time to come on the program. So
thank you.
We've got a few times, maybe during early voting before the election day, you'll come back. Because early voting, that's next week. That's Monday.
Early voting is April 24th till May 2nd. April 21st, April 24th to May 2nd is early voting. And then May 6th is the actual day of the election.
Which is Saturday, which is they purposely made Saturday for most people are off that day so they can go and vote.
So they can go and vote and enjoy, Make it fun when you go vote. Elect the right people.
And vote, please vote. Tell your friends, your relatives, you got to vote. You got to vote. I ask her. So, all right. Thank you so much. And we'll be in touch again. And definitely you are welcome back before Election Day. Maybe one final push.
Yes.
And I'll give everyone the same option as well. Yeah.
Thank you so very much. You guys take care and God bless.
Have a great night, Caty. Thank you for coming on the program.
Okay, bye-bye.
All righty, that was Mrs. Caty Presas-Garcia running for District 2 here in the city of Brownsville, Texas, the most historic city of Texas and some other stuff. I know. Sorry, Robert. I couldn't do it as good as you do it. If you know, you know. That's another one of those things. But tomorrow, Wednesday, guess who's on? I've got Susan in Ruvalcaba. She's got a few things to say about something she heard yesterday on my program. You know what I'm talking about. And she's got a few words to say about that. So she'll be here tomorrow. I did visit with her at her meet and greet this evening. And surprised, she had a huge turnout. Parking lot was full. The house was crowded. And she had a lot of supporters. And that's great to see that for her. It's great to see that. I think some fresh ideas, some fresh minds, some really motivated people that are running for office. There's a few that seem like people really do care. So, all the luck to them. And anyway, Susan will be here tomorrow and for the second time. And she'll have a few things to say, and we'll just, get back in touch. And then Wednesday, that's Wednesday. Thursday will be Mr. Ernesto Lopez. Ernesto Lopez will be here. He's Caty's opponent. And so we'll talk to him on then. And we'll see what's coming up for Friday and Saturday. Everyone, thanks for joining me tonight on this Taco Tuesday. I hope you all enjoyed the program. And we will talk to you tomorrow. Have a great night, everyone.